great pleasure to be here. Lovely to see so many familiar faces. I'm going to build up on the presentations that were so well produced this morning. And we'll talk a little more about the regulatory aspects or the industry standards on human factors. Now, what has happened is OCIMF has put the agenda right at the center of things. They have three leading initiatives. One is called the Human Factors Management and Self-Assessment. The other is called, the SIRE 2.0. And the third initiative is on behavioral competency assessments. And we will see how they interlink with one another. Time is a little short, so excuse me if I hurry through this, but I'll be happy to take any questions later. So this is the data from EMSA, the European Maritime Safety Agency, and they studied incidents from 2014 to 2021 and said that 81.1% of all the factors that contributed to these incidents related to human element. This is another one which talks only about the navigational incidents from the same source, and they have opined that 83.5% of the actual incidents had some human action as a responsible element in it. So the question is, are humans to blame? Is human error inevitable? And James Reason, who was a British psychologist, he said a very important thing. He said that most human errors are a result of faulty organizational cultures rather than solely brought about by the individuals concerned. How we are affected by tools, tasks, environments we work in, and the cultures, and I would include leadership, helps us in understand what are the factors that encourage us to perform better, and what are the factors that inhibit that performance. So what are human factors? We talk about this term, and incidentally, IMO uses human element. We've heard human performance, but actually they mean the same thing. So what are we talking about? So, ergonomics, equipment design, motivation, task design, resource allocation, communication, organizational culture, teamwork, conflicts, stress, fatigue, training, anxiety, and a lot more, right? So what OCIMF has done is, they say that human factors are physical, psychological, and social characteristics that affect human interaction with equipment, system, processes, and other individuals and work teams. So if you have these three things, equipment, systems, and operations, and we put the human at the center of this, half your issues can be resolved. The reason is that when we design processes, we take into account safety and environmental considerations, regulatory issues, the company's goals, policies, objectives, industry standards, risk assessments, etc. But in practice, the job is never done the way we imagine, because you have unexpected problems, you have equipment resource limitations, you have human factors, you have unclear procedures, error traps, changing conditions, etc. And unless the practical insights obtained from this feed back into the system, we will continue to make those same mistakes. If you allow this to feed back into your system, you provide the controls to prevent, detect, and recover from mistakes. And this results in enhanced safety, productivity, and reduction in human error. So, Human Factors Management and Self-Assessment, this is a document which is identical in form and feel to the TMSA document, 4 stages, and this will, OCIMF has said that they will include it in the future editions of TMSA. The key objective is to help companies recognize and control the conditions and systems that influence human actions and decisions and promote safety and excellence across all operations. Recognizes that people on board ships make the safety work but human error occurs in their interaction with conditions, systems, and other people. By addressing these interactions, we reduce human error and improve reliability. So what they're saying is that you put the human at front and center of all your policies and processes and equipment design to manage this better. And there are 5 key areas here. Leadership. So leadership talks about empowerment at all levels. It talks about encouraging everyone to intervene and resolve issues that might lead to unsafe work. It talks about learning when things go wrong. And the second level is the capability, which talks about identification of safety critical tasks and provide controls to prevent and detect and recover from mistakes, work with personnel to understand how jobs are actually done, to identify error traps that may lead to mistakes and workarounds. And then you have the design and execution, which talks about well-designed equipment and controls, your ergonomics, and they say, is the equipment reliable and simple to maintain? Does it make allowance for human faculties and to make and to the ways people prefer to work? And then you have the skills, which talks about recognizing unexpected dangerous situations and maintaining skills over time, particularly those that are rarely used, and training staff to keep track of stress, fatigue, concentration levels, and other factors that might impair decision-making skills, so human factors. And lastly, learning before and after the things go wrong. So learn while the things are going right, not only when the things are going wrong, and feed it back into your processes and systems. And this also talks about the ability to investigate incidents, to look beyond human error and seek to make sense of the system and conditions that allow the incidents to occur. So it's not good enough to say that the leadership was poor. You have to be able to drill deeper and see what caused the leadership to be poor under those circumstances. The second part so human beings are the center here, and the second part of the presentation is the SIRE 2.0, which is imminent. I understand they're implementing it from 1st of January. And, hitherto we were, when we did the SIRE inspections, we spoke about people and we spoke about processes. We spoke about equipment. But now they have included the people into the whole scheme of things. And the paradigm is that people are the integral part of safety barriers that prevent incidents and help recover in case something goes wrong. If you take the people away, the processes fail. So however good your processes are or your equipment is, they will not work unless you focus on people. So SIRE 2.0 seeks to carry out a holistic review of equipment, processes, and people. And therefore, the inspectors would look at all 3 aspects to ensure that the safety critical systems are healthy. The inspectors will focus on what are called the PIFs, or the performance influencing factors. They are divided into 4 categories: physical, psychological, organizational, and social. And this is for each task. So under group 1, you have the safety criticality of a task. Under group 2, you have the procedures, whether they're user-friendly, team dynamics, communication. You have stress, workload, fatigues, time constraints, morale, motivation, nervousness. And then you have the workplace ergonomics, signage, tools, layout, space, noise, light, heat, human-machine interface, etc. And then the opportunities to learn and practice. We spoke about mentoring earlier in the day. So the inspectors are looking for evidence that the task can be reliably executed in future. If one or more PIFs are unhealthy, this can lead to a failure. A task may therefore be marked not as expected, and despite the hardware and the processes being adequate due to human factors. The SIRE inspections are a good opportunity to learn about the effectiveness of our barriers that prevent incidents. And by addressing the unhealthy PIFs, we can increase the reliability of the task. The third bit was the behavioral competency assessment. And what is interesting here is that assessments focused on people should be carried out specially for safety critical tasks like navigation, mooring, cargo work, and engine room operations. This is from OCIMF. And as humans are a key part of our safety barriers, the assessment should include assessment of human factors besides the technical aspects. So they have provided a framework to be able to do that, and that framework is the picture on your right side, which is called the Behavioral Competency Assessment and Verification for Vessel Operators. And what it says is that the high-performing organizations increasingly recognize that it is not just what people do, but how they do their jobs that makes a difference in achieving objectives. It is crucial to have the systems and practices in place that are geared towards defining, assessing, maintaining, developing soft skills that contribute to a culture of high performance which can be observed through people's actions and behaviors. So very quickly, this has 6 basic domains: team working, communication, situational awareness, decision making, result focus, and leadership. And under each domain, there are elements and indicators. So under team working, for example, you have participation, inclusiveness, supporting others, conflict resolution, etc. And under each element, you have the behavioral indicators. So what it basically says is that it's not good enough to say teamwork was not good. You are able to now pinpoint what are the positive attributes in teamwork and what were the negative ones, and therefore do something about it. Each officer should be individually assessed by appropriately trained and qualified assessors. The behavioral competency framework can be easily incorporated into the competency management systems. So this is the next thing. All high-performing organizations are already having these systems, but the industry is catching up gradually, and some people are still in the process. This can also assist in professional development of officers, and any gaps identified should then be systematically bridged through training, mentoring, coaching as applicable. So some key takeaways before I wind up: create an environment where the company is constantly learning and improving. Past success is not a guarantee of future outcomes. People are not the problem, they are the problem solvers. Processes and equipment should be designed with humans at the core. Ask them what they need to be successful. Enhance positive capacities, resources, and readiness. Do not focus on things that go wrong. Focus on things that go right, and take the leadership to enhance the capacities that make things go right. Recognize great performance. So thank you very much, and thank you for inviting. I hope I was able to build up on these very important aspects. Thank you.